I'm supposed to do that. Oh. I just didn't really want to go, but they wanted to go. I'm just like, okay.
Good evening and welcome to the Chaska City Council meeting for Monday, May 6, 2024. We'll call the meeting in order at 7 o'clock. Please stand and join me in pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. Welcome, welcome. At least we call roll, please.
Hatfield? Here. Councilmember Hubbard? Here. Councilmember Long?
Here.
Councilmember Brown?
Here.
Here. All right, moves to item 4, adopting the agenda. Are there corrections or additions to the agenda? If not, I would entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
I make the agenda.
Motion by Councilmember Hubbard,
Second.
second by Councilmember Grau to adopt the agenda. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Post same sign. Motion carries. Next, we have a proclamation for Professional Municipal Clerks Week, and I'm going to go ahead and read that. So proclamation in recognition of Professional Municipal Clerks Week. Whereas the Office of Professional Municipal Clerk, a time-honored and vital part of local government, exists throughout the world, and whereas the Office of the Professional Municipal Clerk is the oldest among public servants, and whereas the Office of the Professional Municipal Clerk provides the professional link between citizens, the local governing bodies, and agencies of government at other levels, and whereas professional municipal clerks have pledged to be ever mindful of their neutrality and impartiality, rendering equal service to all. Whereas the professional municipal clerk serves as the information center on the function of local government and community. Whereas the professional municipal clerks continually strive to improve the administration of the affairs of the Office of Professional Municipal Clerk through participation in education programs, seminars, workshops, and annual meetings of their state, provincial, county, and international professional organizations. Whereas it is most appropriate that we recognize the accomplishments of the Office of Professional Municipal Clerks. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Mark Winshuttle, Mayor of the City of Chaska, on behalf of the City Council and the citizens of Chaska, do hereby proclaim May 5th through the 11th, 2024 as Professional Municipal Clerks Week. In witness whereof, I hereon do set my hand in the seal of the City of Chaska, the 6th day of May in the year of our Lord, 2024. So, said we've always had a city clerk in the city, and it's an important role for us, and we've always recognized that. But before we move on, I'd like to.
One thing I'll mention real quick on that is we have two clerks. We have Denise and Vicky. Denise is a certified clerk, and Vicky is actually this week in finishing up her certification.
Oh.
Yeah, so we'll have two certified clerks then.
Well,
Vicky's gone all week, she said.
Mhm.
St. Cloud. She says it's a long week. So, but anyways, it's always great to recognize. But I do want to mention, and I think most of you remember, May, there's a lot of different special events. So I just want to honor all of them as well. Some of them we may have missed, but some are still coming up. Armed Forces Day is the third Saturday in May, so that's May 18th. National Police Week is every May, and that's May 12th through the 18th. Military Appreciation Month is every May. International Firefighters Day is May 4th. Municipal Clerks we already got. National Teachers Appreciation Week, it is every year the first week of May, May 6th through the 10th. National Nurses Week, every year it starts on May 6th through May 12th. And then Public Service Recognition Week, every year the first full week of May, so May 5th through the 11th. So congratulations and thanks for all of these people for all they do for all of us, so.
I would just add that May is also Asian Pacific American Heritage Month as well. It's one of those community members that call us Chaska home as well.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else?
I know it's Corrections Officer Appreciation Week as well.
Possible.
Well, how did you know that?
Well, I saw a Facebook post by the Carver County Sheriff, but I also happened to have an inside source on that, so.
Perfect, all right.
Yeah, it's this week.
May is a busy month,
Yeah.
so, all right, so with that, we will move into visitor presentation, and tonight we have the state of the library with Jodi Edstrom and Kevin Spencer, so come on up, guys. Always exciting to hear all the things that are happening in the library over the last year.
We're glad to be here. So I think they're gonna, someone's gonna put up a PowerPoint as well to help guide us through with some visuals. But I think most of you know me by now, Jodi Edstrom, Library Director for Carver County. And tonight I have with me Kevin Spencer, our Chaska Branch Manager. I'm gonna just run through some quick highlights for the system as a whole, and then Kevin gets to share more of the local perspective with you tonight. So, and there we go. I think we're coming up live here. So I will leave you with our annual report before we go tonight. And the theme that really emerged out of this over the past year was our library community and really thinking about our library as part of an integral part of all of our communities. So a couple exciting things that happen, and you can go, yep, right, perfect. Community learning, a couple new things we were able to introduce this year were bilingual story times in Spanish and in English. So that was really exciting for our communities. And then also some health literacy workshops, really with the goal in mind of trying to give access to everyone for lifelong learning. We were able to do those particular programs with our Charles Dalkey Grant Fund. So that's really huge for us. You can go up to the next slide. We really think of our spaces and our experiences as a place to gather. And that's one of my most favorite things about our libraries is watching those interactions happen with community members coming together, whether it's book clubs, story time, just watching staff interact with people that come in through the door every day. It's just, that's like one of the most magical pieces for me as I interact with our patrons. Next. And then community partnerships, of course, whether it's City of Chaska, whether it's our parks departments, our schools, we thrive and just really build on those partnerships to help really build on what we're doing. Next. And then I already spoke briefly about community grants. We also have a library foundation that provides some additional funding for us to be able to really enhance our services and our materials. And this year was all about welcoming and being welcoming to all into our spaces. Next. So here's where we delve a little bit into some of our more, so on the technology side of it, we introduced automatic renewals this year. So if you have a book checked out and as long as no one else is waiting for it, it will automatically renew up to 4 times. You don't have to do anything. So we've heard really positive feedback about that. It's really exciting.
If someone's waiting for the book, then you tell them they got to get it back. Is that what you do?
It just sits there
Oh.
in the queue.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, it's pretty awesome.
So, and we also have text messaging notifications now. So we're up on our technology. So if you want to opt in for that, you can do that as well. I already talked a little bit about some of our partnerships, but our programs, that's one of our exciting pieces. We are offering in-person, online, hybrid, self-directed, trying to just do a lot of different things to meet a lot of different needs and people in our communities. So our adult programs this past year had over 13,500 participants across the county. So that was a really staggering number for us. And if we go to the next slide, we'll see some other numbers that were really exciting for us. We reached over 1.3 million checkouts for both print and digital materials. So that's pretty exciting. And that goes back to pre-COVID again, which is fantastic to see that rise up again. For Storytime, which is one of our biggest, most popular, important, fundamental pieces, we had over 10,000 kids attend Storytimes this past year. One of our youth services programs on YouTube had over 22,000 views. And our library meeting rooms were booked over 875 times. So we're staying busy. So I'm going to turn it over to Kevin.
So we have some Chaska specific statistics there. You can see from the pie chart that most of our circulation is books for children, basically. A very large majority of that is. We added 2,987 library cards this year for over 15,000 total here at Chaska. 2,546 people attended in-library programs, and over 565 hours of volunteer time was donated to the library this past year. Next slide. So this is my philosophy for the library is that it is a community hub. When you think of library, everybody thinks books. But really, it is so much more than that. It's a place where you go for information. It's a place where you go to just gather in general, to be with your fellow community members. It's where you go to learn new things. So it might be like a cooking class, something that you generally wouldn't think of at a library. Next slide, please. And of course, we had our 101st anniversary back in February. And this is kind of where my focus is going. So this is the past. I definitely always for cookies. Yes. I want to build on that past. So I went around to all the kids, all the kindergartners in Carver Elementary, and I asked them to draw a picture of the library of the future. And that's one of the pictures there. But it's those connections again. Yes, cookies are there always, but it's the connections of the people. That's super important. That's how we build and grow. Next slide, please. So from the adult services side of things, every year we have an adult reading program where it's similar to our summer reading program for kids, where they can get credit for all the books that they read and win prizes, except it's a little bit more grown up. Next slide, please. And one of the most popular things that we do for grown-ups, for the adults, is our seed library, where we offer up free seeds, and we just ask in the fall that they donate some seeds back so that we can continue the process. Going along with this summer, we plan to make a community garden across the street right over there, where we can do some programming, and anything grown there can be made available to our community. Next slide, please. And here are some of the things that we've been doing for teens. This is generally considered a very difficult age group to get involved in library programming in general, but we have had an amazing person doing some amazing programming. And some of the things pictured up here is a book club that took place in the parks. So every month it was a different park in Chaska, and they got free books and then got together and talked about the books that they read. The middle picture is one of our teen volunteers, which is so important. And not only do many of their schools actually require some service projects, but we get an overwhelming number of kids who just like the library and they want to help out. And the picture on the right is of our Teen Tuesdays. That's where we have every Tuesday evening, there's a new project that they can come in and work on, and we provide all the materials, and it's just a good place to kind of meet and socialize and make something that they can take home. Next slide, please. And of course, this is the big one that's coming up for us, summer reading. It's not only the tracker for the books that you read, which is incredibly important because teachers know that there's this thing called the summer slide, where kids, if they don't keep engaged in that process, in the reading process, they can lose up to 2 grade levels in reading ability over the summer. So it's important for them to keep practicing and growing in those months where they don't actually have to go to school. So we give incentives. The main incentive is books. We want to reward reading with reading. So they get books and they have chances to win like twins tickets and some other things like that.
Along that, we have just a whole slate of activities that are taking place, not only in the library, but we're going to be using the space across the street and the history center and the parks in town. And so all kinds of really great things going on from, I think there's a magician pictured there, to archery on one of our nights. Next slide, please. And here's some of the other fun programming things that we've done in the past year. The top left picture is of Hogwarts Escape Room. Our escape rooms have been really popular and they get people sign up for those in a snap. They're taken up. The one in the top right is one of our STEM programs. That one happened to be on reflection and creating light kaleidoscopes. And the bottom one is more of a service project. They were creating blankets for shelter animals. Next slide, please. Of course, story times are, you saw the numbers, over 10,000 kids are a huge thing in libraries just in general. It's so important for kids to hear stories and to have that involvement in the story that they don't get when they're looking at screens. So going across from the left to the right there, that's a squad car story time. So the police officers were there telling stories. And when the weather is nice, they get to go outside and take a look at the car. The next one over was a musical story time. And the picture on the far right was our bilingual story time that Jodi mentioned earlier. Next slide, please. And this is super important right here, those connections that we're making with our communities. The pictures there are the Chaska Pride picnic. The master gardeners come in every Saturday and meet with our community to give advice on growing. And of course, we're always pushing into the schools because we want to get not only those kids into our spaces, but we want to support our educators in what they're doing. Next slide, please. And I wish I could include more. This is our administration, which is right over there in the top of the building over there. This is where we do all of our processing of all of our materials that go out to the public. So it's a huge job and we have some very dedicated and focused people who can work around all the craziness that us managers create up there. Next slide, please. And I want to really make sure that we mention our friends of the Chaska Library through their book sales and other fundraising endeavors. They bring so much to what we do. Budget doesn't cover everything that we want to do. And so they are always right there to help pay for those things that generally don't fit into our budget. Next slide, please. And this is where I'm super focused right now is what is the future of our library? I attended the Public Library Association meeting last month, and I heard a term, library as destination. So down here in this corner of the metro area, we don't have like a library that's really a destination. So as we look forward to the future of the Chaska Library, maybe it's library / children's museum. Maybe it's library / something else that would really bring people from this whole side of the cities down to Chaska, down to downtown Chaska in particular. So some of the pictures that I have there, the first one is from the Cerritos Library in California. They have an actual dinosaur skeleton there and just all kinds of fun play things for kids. Like there's the lighthouse and there's a geological display and some other things there. The next one over is what we would call a maker space. So there's a 3D printer. There's some other construction type things there for the public to use free of charge. The next space over is one of the things that we are in dire need in our library, and it's a teen hangout spot where kids can just come and hang out and feel comfortable and maybe do homework, maybe just sit and talk. And the last one over I kind of alluded to, that's a teaching kitchen in a library. And that's something that a lot of the staff at the Chaska Library are very passionate about as well.
Jodi made you put that one in, right?
She didn't. She's not the only one there.
All right.
And next slide, please. And these are, you might notice the flowers and the plantings and things that happened last summer. We're always very thankful to the city of Chaska for your support of what we do for our community. And the last slide is the people that you can contact if you have questions. Please feel free to reach out and talk to any one of us. I'm always happy to sit down and talk dreams and ideas and thoughts for our library. Love hearing that stuff.
Questions for him?
No questions, but
And you can't say nothing.
well, I sure can, because I was so excited to see you two on the agenda tonight. I was so excited. No, I love the library. I love the Libby app. I love listening to audiobooks. I love going in. I've banned myself temporarily because I have so many books at home that I need to read the books I purchased. I need to read them before I can go in. But I love your Lucky Day that the Friends of the Library put on. So fun. But it's really fun to see this presentation and see the numbers, see, that you guys are being so widely used and so you're so valued in the community. And it's nice to see the reciprocation of that. But then it's really neat to see that you could just say, we're a library and, we serve this purpose and we're just going to do everything that we do and we're not going to reinvent ourselves or try new things. But you don't. You lean into it. Your ingenuity to kind of create new events and like the escape room thing. I mean, I don't know who is thinking of these things, but they're amazing. And it's just so fun to see that you guys are, doing new things. I felt, I went and donated back earlier in the year. I had some like board games and stuff like that I just was like, I know, but I just heard that Waconia was doing a puzzle deal. So I brought some puzzles and some board games so that I donated them so that they could get used and everything. I love it all. Huge cheerleader. Thank you guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
So,
I think, when just kind of piggybacking on what Councilmember Hubbard was saying, there's such a great excitement about like everything you do, right? And I think that one of the interesting challenges ahead is staying relevant, right? Because libraries sort of occupy this really interesting space in communities. They're sort of like a kind of like an institution intersecting with like a retail, right? In a sense, because you have visitors, people come in, but much like retail struggled, like has been struggling for years and years, past like 20 years probably, that retail has kind of struggled to maintain relevance because people said, oh, I can just get everything I need online, right? You can get all the knowledge you want online as well. So how do you get people in? But not just how do you get people in, but why do you get people in? You get people in to help inspire them, to engage them, to get them to think outside the box, to give them a safe place, to give them places to meet and to build relationships and build bonds, right? And libraries are so much more. And I think that people oftentimes forget that it's not just a place to get knowledge. It's so much more. And what's really exciting is to look forward into that next 100 years and for us to be able to help plant those seeds in terms of what those next 100 years look like. What does the library of tomorrow look like? And I'm really excited that you guys are starting to think ahead about a destination for a library, because those are the things that help us like in terms of like ideating and kind of getting the vision of like what should this library be, because the library of 50 or 100 years ago is not a place people would want to go day to day. I mean, there's some architectural things that are interesting about those big grand libraries, like the Getty Museum kind of libraries, right? Like from like the big money of back in those days, the big philanthropies. But the libraries of tomorrow are going to be places where people interact, they're inspired, they're curious, they're going to be eyes wide open because, wow, this is an exciting place I want to come to. And I'm really excited that you guys are thinking about that direction. So
Back in the day, it was one librarian whose main job was to shush people. And that's not what we want. We want it to be, the glasses in the bun, male or female, didn't matter. But it's a vibrant place and we want activity. And if that includes noise, so be it. We want the people to be there and to be excited to be there. And so, yeah, it's all part of the evolution of what we are and what we do.
Stay relevant.
Exactly.
I was just gonna mention, because you talk about grants, and you may be familiar with this organization, but I just recently became familiar with it, and I thought it was pretty cool about the May Book Project. It's a partnership with like the Very Asian Foundation that help provide libraries with, here it says Asian American Youth Literature. So they actually, I just looked, because you can actually put a request in the library, so it'd be interesting to see. I don't know if you've ever heard about it, but I just thought I'd share it because, through my employer, we actually had some connections and actually were able to donate some books to some local school libraries, but they do public libraries as well. So it made me think when you said kind of like grants, and everything. It's a pretty cool foundation, actually founded in St. Louis by some high school students. So May Book Project, if you're the May Book Project, because it corresponds with Asian Pacific Islander Heritage Month in May. So
Well, it's super important for all of our community members to be able to find themselves in our library. And so all of these materials are incredibly important for that.
yeah,
purpose.
like I said, I hadn't heard about it until about a month ago, but I thought I would share it when I saw the connections about grants and everything like that. So. Mhm.
A lot of good stuff said. I guess I'll just say, Kevin, this was your first presentation to us, right? Like you're-
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
well, I can just tell you this. When Jodi stepped into her new role, I was like, oh man, who are we gonna get as good as Jodi? I'm worried. Jodi was so great. Now that's fantastic. But I've been really excited to see just what you've done with the Chaska Library. And we got to sit down and spend about an hour just riffing about library dreams, and it was fantastic. And I just am so appreciative of like the amazing team we have at Chaska Library, Carver County Libraries in general. But every year it's so exciting just to get to hear the state of the library. Just like Councilmember Hubbard, I was excited to see you guys on the agenda because it's always so good to hear what you're doing and the new things. And we spent an hour together talking about dreams, and you gave some new ideas even tonight. So I feel like we could spend a lot of time talking about all the cool things in the library.
Always spinning.
But yeah, so I really appreciate that. I just want to take a minute to brag on the two of you and how lucky I feel we are to have you guys in Chaska. So
Thank you.
yeah.
Not much more to say, is there?
Just
No, it's odd. The two of you got me in the library that I talk about it. I'm just not a library person. And I've been to the library more this year than I have in my life, so.
And we're gonna continue
I
that.
think more things out about the library, But so, and I've never been around for this process, so we're gonna be building a new library. It's not that far away. Are there things already being put in place? Does the county have a standard footprint that they're looking for or a plan that they use? But it's not gonna be long, and we're gonna be saying, we're coming to you looking for a library. And Matt, I don't know, were you here when we built? No.
When we built,
Well, that's right. This was part of this, but
yeah,
do you know, how does that work if we're gonna build our standalone? Does the county have a blueprint? Or should they really be starting to focus on the rooms you're needing, the square
Yeah.
footage and?
I mean, typically, what would happen is it'd be sort of a collaborative process between the county and the city. And typically, we'd also have some sort of citizen task force that's
Yep.
involved in that process to sort of talk about what are the things that we want to have within that building. We generally,
Would have been,
what's that?
unfortunately, we lost Doug. He would have been good in there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Generally, we know about what the square footage should be for a community this size. It's generally about a square foot per person in the community. Right now, that's about 8,000 square foot, and we're ultimately going to be about 35 to 36,000 people. So if you look at Chanhasson's library is about 30 to 32,000 square foot in size. And so we're pretty small for a community our size.
So I just really think that there should be starting to put focus on that, because it won't be long and that time will come and start thinking about who is that task force. I'm sure that, again, we're gonna have to work collaboratively to come together with who should be on there, and there'll be probably somebody from the council sitting on there and different things like that, but it seems so far away when we did, laid out our program, but it's coming fast. And, we just wanna you know, you talked about a lot of the programming space you need, the things you're doing and things like that. But it's time now to start kind of putting them down on paper and say what, you know, what do we gotta have and have it ready. And when that day comes, when come knocking on the door saying it's time, let's go. You've got a lot of that in place and it's gonna streamline the process, gonna make it smoother and just start working on those things. Cause like I say, even though it's probably based on our thing 2 to 3 years away, it's not too far away.
I'm ready to go.
Planning process is in front of the building process, so that we gotta have all that ready to go, so. I hope that, you know, like I said, your presentation pretty much says you're there, but now you gotta start getting on paper. So that it's available and ready to go when that time comes, so.
Right. Sounds great.
That'll be the next,
Exciting.
yeah, I mean, to have that size of a library here is just gonna be like candy in the, you know, the new candy store, so.
Yeah.
Gotta have it.
And when you're looking at the downtown plan and bringing people down, that's why I keep thinking about that idea of a destination place for
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
great.
being part of that.
Yep.
All right, anything else for these guys? Otherwise, it was a great presentation again, and Kevin, you did a great job, so
Thank you.
exciting, so it's good to hear that. So with that, we're all good here, so thank you.
Great, thank you so much.
So,
All right, no one else is here, so there's no other visitor presentation. So with that, we'll move, I'm looking for the approval of the previous meeting minutes from 4/15 of 2024. If there are no corrections or additions, I would entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Councilmember Hubbard,
Second,
second by Councilmember Hatfield to approve the meeting minutes from 4/15/24 discussion. Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Post same sign. Motion carries. That bug?
Yeah.
Alright.
Oh.
Next, we moved on to item 8, which is consent. These are items that need our approval, but not necessarily a conversation, but any and all can be pulled and questioned. So with that, I'll open it up. We got a lot of consent items, a lot of bids. So if anyone has any questions, let me know. Or ask for Matt or whatever. No one? All right, Matt, I got a couple though.
Okay.
8F. What was that trying to tell us? I read it and it just.
What it's trying to tell us is that there's some streets we have to take off of our MSA system because they're no longer streets. And there's some streets we need to add into our MSA
That kind
system.
of like closing the creek road and adding the collector, is that?
Yep.
I mean, that's.
Yeah, so we have to,
What I
we have
made
to
that
inventory,
assumption of.
we have to inventory those with the state because that's what determines how much money we get.
I had a question on 8L. So the Super 8 transient accommodation renewal, do we do all of our transient accommodation renewals at the same time?
Yes.
Is there a reason there's one not on here?
Yes.
Okay.
They are currently going through the process at the other hotel of trying to sell it. And we wanted to allow them to get further through that process to sort of see where, you know, are they going to address the issues that we've addressed with them. So our plan is to bring that back to the next meeting.
And they still are at a level 3 and will continue to be so until there's another vote.
Exactly.
Okay.
Super 8 is not, but they are still at level 3 and that's part of what we're working through with them now.
Thank you.
I just had a quick question on J, which is the Costco liquor license. And it really isn't about the liquor license, but more of like the common question that is constantly getting asked now that the signage is up is when is Costco gonna open?
Yeah, so the date that they're shooting for is actually July 13th.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
We just found that out today, but there's a big caveat there. The union plumbers are on strike.
Mm.
And so that could have impact on the opening of that date, just because there's a significant amount of plumbing work to still be done in the building.
Oh, that was even, I mean, I had just always envisioned even where they're at today, that they probably August, but I was really surprised to hear July, so.
I was surprised by it too. I would have guessed the middle of August.
Cause I was just gonna comment on Jay that, you know, that just gets another step closer that they're applying for their liquor license, so. That's
Science on
what,
the outside of building, that's what I get everyone's talking.
Yeah, that's, yep, it's real.
Well, you can really tell how they designed that building now when you see the building and the sign at the, it's like the terminus of your view at the end of that road.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
exactly. They've built one before, I think.
Yeah.
600 of them
Yeah. Is that how many there are?
in the US.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right, anyone else? I'd entertain a motion to approve consent.
So
Motion by Councilmember Wong,
Second.
second by Councilmember Hubbard to approve consent discussion. Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
I,
Post same sign, motion carries. And we have no action items tonight, so we're just gonna jump right into bills. Anyone with a question?
I have 3 questions. So the first one's on page 1, the ABM Equipment Supply Company. There's an item for, it says just paid 93 service body something. What's that for?
So we had one of our water trucks that was due for replacement. So we purchased those trucks. They're the ones that sort of have the toolboxes on the outside of them. You purchase a chassis separate from the outside. And so the chassis was paid for earlier this year. This is actually the toolbox stuff that goes on the outside of the truck.
Gotcha, so it's basically the add-on.
Yep.
Okay, the second question is page 34. There's an item for Twin Cities and Western Railroad Company. And the item is for line crossing. So I'm wondering, why are we paying for the line crossing?
So that's our annual fee for us to be able to cross our utilities across their line.
So that's for us paying them to be allowed to do that.
Yep.
Okay. And then the last question I have is page 35. There's an item for Vet and Company for cell tower demolition. And so is this the water tower that was behind up on the top of the hill behind where
Mount Pleasant.
Pleasant is, right?
Yep.
So I recall, 'cause I've been up there and I remember that was like an old concrete water tower built at like the turn of last century. And so I mean it's was kind of cool because it's a historic thing and there's not a lot of old water towers like that. And I thought there was like a plaque or something.
There
like
was,
that.
and we took it off and it's getting being given to the historical society.
Okay, very cool, very cool. And I assume that we, took lots of pictures to document it there because it's one of the last vestiges of that sort of like, early, 1900s like construction from back then.
I'm not positive about the pictures. I'm sure there's pictures around. All I know for certain is we got the plaque.
Something,
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah. So
I'm sure there's pictures though.
yeah, so that sounds good. So just when this is one of the things to call out because back in those days, right, you think of it like Chaska was pretty much there's nothing up the hill. There's just farms and stuff up the hill. So Chaska was, really was down in the valley here. And so, instead of actually having to build a tower proper, they basically just put the water tank up on the hill and that was basically the water tower, right? So it's kind of an interesting, interesting use of geography for a water tower back in the day. Yep. Cool. Well, thank you very much.
Yep.
All good?
Yep.
All right. Anyone else on bills? If not, I would entertain a motion, to pay the bills.
So moved.
Motion by Councilmember Wong,
Second.
second by Councilmember Hatfield. Discussion. Hearing none, Elise, we call roll, please.
Hatfield?
Yes.
Councilmember Hubbard?
Yes.
Councilmember Wong?
Aye.
Aye.
Yes. All right, other business, Councilmember Hatfield.
Yeah, a lot. I mean, it's been a busy couple of weeks or a few weeks since our last meeting. Most notably, had the honor of participating in Christmas in May this past Saturday and getting to be a runner and work at one of the houses, and I'm just always so impressed by all the people that show up to participate and to help their neighbors, and I just always think it's really meaningful to see that, and to see the people that come out and just work their butt off. So, ton of houses got help this year, and that was fantastic. So also thank you to Christmas in May. That organization is phenomenal. I feel really lucky we have it in Chaska. Not a lot of communities have organizations like they're out there helping their neighbors. So that, and then of course the loop opening just yesterday, that was amazing. I wasn't sure what to expect, but it was just so amazing to see and to get to play the course, and it was far more challenging than it looks. So it was just really well done, and all the people that came out, and barrier-free golf, and just to get to see it in action with people at all levels of golf. I sat there and had a margarita and a taco to celebrate Cinco de Mayo after we golfed, and I got to watch plenty of people tee off, and truly there was all varying levels of skill and ability, and it was just really, really cool to see. So that was very exciting. It happened before this last weekend. I don't think I can remember it at this point, but fun things coming up. Parks and Rec has a billion things coming up, so look on their Facebook. Some other notables, the fire department and police department are having another battle of the badges. Yeah, badges. Food collection for Bountiful Basket. That's always fun. Bountiful Basket does a lot of amazing things in our community as well. So they posted a needs list, so you can check that out, and then pick a department you want to support. And I think the police won last time, so maybe FD will get a chance at it this time. So we'll see if the fire department can beat them this time. So there's that coming up. There's the bike sale and bike helmets happening at tomorrow at MSB. So you can stop by from 5 to 8. The helmets are $12. And then there'll be bikes there as well. There's Coffee with a Cop coming up on the 15th at 9 a.m. at the South Caribou Coffee. So that's coming up, and then food distribution on the 16th. May is just like a really busy month. And like I said, there's a ton more on Parks and Rec's Facebook that you can go check out. There's other things going, but I've talked enough, so you guys can mention them. And that's all. That's all I'll mention.
Thank you.
Taylor,
Yes,
Hubbard, Taylor, Miss Councilmember Hubbard.
yeah, that's you.
Yeah, me. Okay. Yeah, I will also share in the wonderful sentiments. Christmas in May was this weekend. The weather looked a little scary at first, but it cleared out, ended up being a really great day. Yeah, it was wonderful to see. There was like, what, over 200 volunteers, the most they've ever had. I also want to thank St. John's for their participation and partnership. I spoke with several individuals that were on the job site at the home that I was at, and a lot of them had their connection was St. John's, so they didn't necessarily live in Chaska, but that was their connection. So it was really cool to see people come out and help another community, because that's what they really wanted to roll up their sleeves and help, and just people of all ages, skill levels of all ability, helping with that, and just seeing the before and after. Our job site was primarily like landscaping work, and just to see, the extreme difference between the beginning and the end. It was, and to see the input that the homeowner had kind of along the way about where he wanted some plantings and things that he wanted. And it was so great to see that. So appreciate all the hard work involved with Christmas in May, all the volunteers, all the coordination ahead of time. It's a big undertaking, and thank you. Again, I was at the opening of the Loop yesterday. I'm wearing my t-shirt in support of the Loop. I didn't get to golf. I wanted to kind of give others the opportunity. But my family, we did utilize the Minnelayans. It's the little 18-hole putt course, and that was really fun and kind of challenging. And my son loved it. He kind of ran to every single, ball he hit, and he went back out after we were wrapped up and played a few holes again. So it was a big hit with him. And just to see, I know there was a lot of partners involved in that, a lot of fundraising, a lot of hard work. I spoke to one of the gentlemen with Stantec, and he was telling me about all the time spent kind of, mapping out things and just really the hard work involved behind the scenes. So it's just so great. It was one of the things that when I first joined the council was up for discussion in the preliminary part about what do you do? Do we, or, is this something that is, is interested in doing, and, some of the aspects of it. And then to be able to see it come into fruition is so wonderful. And I think I was thinking about this yesterday. We have our strategic goals as a city, and one of them is to be an inclusive and welcoming community. And I just think, what greater way of being able to showcase that than to have a barrier-free golf course in our community and have that for people. So it was just amazing. It was such a great day. Also attended the Cinco de Mayo celebration for the local Rotary Club had, and it was wonderful. They had a lot of really great speakers, one with public health and then another individual, but then they also honored some of our local organizations and individuals. And so a couple people that got honored were Officer Julie Janke got honored, and our Human Rights Commission got honored, which was really fun to see. So the efforts being put forward are being noticed. And then same thing with the first responder luncheon. That was with the Southwest Chamber, attended that, and that was really nice to see our Officer Julie get honored there, as well as I know she's approaching retirement. So it's nice to see all of that happen. And then just the last thing is Mother's Day is coming up this weekend. And so I just want to thank all the moms out there, all the caregivers. I know sometimes some families, they may not have a mom in the family, but so a caregiver that cares for them, I want to appreciate and thank them, but also all the moms. And then I know there are also some that maybe have lost their mom, and to kind of pay honor to that too, because that can be hard. But thank you, moms, for all the hard work that you do.
Good report. Councilmember Wall.
Let's see. So I think there's a number of these things covered, but I'll just kind of touch on like a few of them here. The fire department moved to its new temporary fire station on April 29th. So that's a pretty big one, a pretty big milestone. That means that now the fire station's operating there. They can actually, start work on the old building and start work on effectively the new building and the new public safety campus. So that's really exciting. Christmas in May was a great turnout. I think what really, in addition to everything that that council members Hatfield and Hubbard said, I was really impressed with just the turnout of so many people that came on a day that was a really rainy morning, right? I think we all started off the morning thinking, gosh, is this going to happen? Is anyone going to show up? Are we going to be the only people here? And sure enough, there was just a packed house in that gym. So great to see the fantastic turnout of, so many people, and to see, such great work being done at all the different houses. So that was fantastic. And it's such a blessing that we have that here in our community, and that so many people do take the time to come together and to do such great work for such a great cause. I was able to attend the Loop grand opening. That was fantastic to see, this new facility. Again, barrier-free golf is such a wonderful thing to, kind of be able to have such an inclusive facility here and within our community. It's such a unique amenity that so few communities have, that will be a destination for so many others. And it really kind of breathes new life into a course that had seen better days before, and be able to make the investments and to bring this back and to have it available for a whole nother generation of golfers, or multiple generation of golfers, is really exciting. The Taste of Chaska is coming up on Wednesday, May 8th at Fireman's Park. River City Days, July 26th through 28th at Lions Park. The Chaska History Center is having this Graveside Tales tour, where they'll be having live reenactors reenacting stories from the graves, or before the graves, right? And so that'll be done with the Living History Center. So that'll be really exciting. That'll be on June 29th. Tickets are selling, so get your tickets now if you're interested in doing that. So I hear it should be really, really well done. It was also done by some of the same people who did the the Murder and Mayhem tour and the also the Halloween tour of Chaska too, which are really, really well done tours. Also coming up on May 27th is the Veterans Day service, and that'll be at 10 a.m. at Veterans Park. Last few years are fantastic. They always do such a great job. So looking forward to attending the service there to honor our veterans, and to honor veterans during Memorial Day. And then also, I think we'll probably another meeting before this, but also mention that Officer Jenke is retiring at the end of this month. So for so many of us know Officer Jenke, she's been such a visible a person in our community, and she's done so much great work in our community that everybody loves her, and she's just she's really special. So I'll probably wish her a happy retirement multiple times, but if you do get a chance to see her before the end of the month, be sure to wish her a happy retirement. And thank her for all of her service to our community. One other thing too is I think we had an update for SmartLink, and one of the things that was kind of cool in the SmartLink update was actually a Southwest Transit item, which was kind of cool. Is that Southwest Transit is going to be doing sort of a new prototype run of autonomous vehicles in Eden Prairie. It's not here in our community, but we're part of a joint powers agreement with Southwest Transit. And as innovators in our communities, one of the things they're starting to do is a little pilot, and we'll have, I think, 5 vehicles in partnership with an autonomous vehicle company that focuses in public transit for autonomous vehicles. These vehicles are going to be limited to like 30 or 40 miles an hour. So it's not like you're going to be like blazing down 212 or anything with like no one in the driver's seat. So these are going to be like kind of like doing a circulator routes in like a very specific locations. And so the details are still being worked out right now, but something really exciting. It's, and I just wanted to call that out because it's, just kind of a testament to a lot of the good work that's being done, that we're continuing to innovate and continuing to look for new ways to be more efficient, more effective. And as we look at, cost and, like how much it is, how hard it is to find drivers and to find, to be able to like, keep these services out there. Autonomy is one of those ways, one of those technologies that will allow us to have, affordable transportation for people moving into the future. So I think it's great that we're sort of chartering that and, be able to learn from these experiences at this point in our development cycle. And of course, the last thing is that next Sunday is Mother's Day. So I'd like to wish all the moms out there a happy Mother's Day. That's all I've got.
Councilor Graw.
I'll keep mine short. A lot's been said. Christmas May, it's just fun to see the appreciation. My kids have gotten more interested in old, so I got them out there and help raking and just helping them understand why we do this and help build that, and to see all the other people that come out was super fun. I will mention that the baseball fields in Chaska will be occupied and busy this weekend. The Chaska Classic is this weekend. So if you're driving around town, wondering what's going on at baseball fields. Ages 9 through 11, and I just did a quick count, 51 teams from around the area will be participating. So hope for good weather. It's been a rough start to the baseball season. And it was rain in the forecast. Last year, the Classic got rained on Sunday. And it's
This
kind
one
of
looks good Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah, it looks better. So that's good. But yeah, it got rained out. And then without just a shout out to the city and the fields and keeping those in shape for that, because a lot work goes into making those fields ready. Because I will say when you go to fields in different communities, you remember the fields that are in good shape. You also remember the fields that are not in good shape, right? And so it is very reflective of that community, and Lions Park, Pioneer community are some really great setups. So just appreciate all the work that goes in there, especially in a very trying time when the fields are right now really wet.
Well, and the other part of that is, wet is one thing, but the crews don't have all their summer helps to help them, so they have a lot trying to get all the grass mowed and everything, so yeah, they're doing a lot of work to get those fields available.
Yeah, the fields are supposed to have a game tomorrow too. We'll see if that happens because they just can't hold much water right now because they're pretty saturated. So, but hopefully it'll dry out for the weekend because that might be my youngest son and my coaching debut's first games. That's two of our games already been canceled, and tomorrow looks canceled as well potentially. So, just appreciate that. So that is all I have.
Yeah.
The coaching debut.
You said,
For
you say you
baseball.
were good?
I'm good. Yes.
All right, thank you. Lisa, anything?
Just a note that demolition started today on the old fire station. And so the fence went up last week. A lot of trees came down last week. So we're trying to keep on top of kind of getting information out to the public about what's going on. And as far as that is concerned, we will have a booth at Taste of Chaska on Wednesday night to share more information with the public. Just continue to get the information out. So that's all I have.
Yeah, so far, I obviously I live up there, so I can see, today they really ground up all the trees they had cut, so there's really no building itself demo, but.
That's tomorrow morning, they start with that.
Tomorrow, cause they didn't.
They brought in the backhoe about 1 o'clock today.
I just saw the tree stuff there, so it must have. Good, good.
You're good? Thank you. Christoph, anything? Matt?
Just two quick things. Really want to thank people for Christmas in May. Just the amount of people that showed up and the amount of people that put all the work into getting things ready. Just great appreciation for that. It was an awesome day. And then the second thing on the loop, and I'll only just share this from my perspective. Having a child who has a disability, to be able to take him to the event yesterday and have him be able to play that whole 18 holes. And then they had a sign up table up there for adaptive golf that they'll be having every Wednesday night throughout the summer. It's cool because Will and Christian, I can take them anywhere and they can do anything. But that's not the case with Lincoln. And so to go to a place and be able to have that available is pretty special. So. Thank you.
All right. I have a few, I'm gonna touch on some of the same thing. The loop, I was, very proud to be part of that and to be able to speak and to really talk to the barrier-free folks and the architect again, to say that this is really one of a kind right now. There's talk of one on the north side. Barrier-free talked to me and said, would you be willing to go up and talk to them at some point? I said, well, I can certainly try, but it was a lot of situational, like we said, that, we had a golf course that was on its last leg and we either fix it or we let it go. But the problem is the land wouldn't be valuable for anything else but a golf course. So it really was a win-win in our situation, and it was great. And just to see the expressions on the faces of some of the people that it was the dream, and to hear the conversation, I thought was pretty amazing. So it was really pretty special to be part of that and to see that and to see how high tech those golf carts are. It was amazing. It just was really, really cool. So and one thing I forgot and I feel terrible about, and I'll say it here publicly, is I didn't thank the rest of the council for their part in this. We took a pretty bold step and a chance on something that has never been. And councils over the years have always been strong about taking some chances. But I didn't recognize the rest of you guys, and I do want to say thank you for that. We reached out and it thanked a lot of people, but I just terrible about that. I always forget about ourselves. So I want to publicly thank the council and
They'll never let you forget it.
yeah, I know. I'm used to it. And the staff, the staff put a lot of time into it and they as well. So thanks to all of that. So that's pretty cool. Christmas in May was amazing. And like I said, I thought this one even seen with the two veterans families that we helped that were just desperately needed to help. That just does a lot, and to be able to help everybody is, I don't know, it's just one of those events that I don't care, no matter how hard you work and you, like, I didn't get done till 6 o'clock, you still go home and go, that was pretty cool, what we just did. That was pretty awesome. So if you ever want to be part of an organization, it's a 1 day thing. There's nothing better. There's absolutely nothing better to be part of, I don't think, than Christmas in May. So it's every year, generally the first Saturday of May, and we're always looking for volunteers, and like somebody said, I will I will definitely say that I didn't think we were gonna go. I just did not think the volunteers would have showed up, and they showed up more than we've ever had. So that just tells you a lot about how much people really want to help and do things. So I think it's pretty cool, and it's something that most other cities really can't brag and be proud about. And I think that that's something that we can really hang our hat on, and it's really pretty cool. So thanks, and thanks to everyone that helped out on that. So we had the curling under 5 national championships here, drew some teams from all across the United States. I think the comments were all very favorable. A Minnesota team did win it. Unfortunately, it wasn't ours from our curling club, but Duluth won it. So it's nice to keep it here in state. And when I say under 5, that means under 5 years experience. When I first saw that, I'm thinking under 5, wow.
It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, so and it was fun, and I got to be part of going to open that up. So it was another exciting day. So fun.
You know, one thing real quick on that, we know we have the US Amateur coming August 12th to the 18th, but that week before that, USA Curling is having, basically it's their annual membership meeting. And I've seen this at the St. Paul Curling Club. There's people from all over the country that come to this meeting, and we'll spend a couple days over at the curling center. But as part of that, there also will be the pre-trials for mixed doubles for the Olympics. And so if anybody wants to see some teams that are vying to be in the next Olympics for mixed doubles, that week will be the competition to see who goes on to the official trials. So it'll be a really good opportunity if somebody wants to see really good curling to see it.
That's awesome. Well, let's put that out there so we remind ourselves.
Sure.
There's so much going on between now and August. I can't keep anything straight. I had the same thing. The US Amateurs here, the 12th through the 18th. And that's a pretty big event. That's where the Tiger Woods came out of, I believe.
Well, Ricky Ramsey was the one that won it here. And then Ricky Fowler
was another one came out. I mean, so there's a lot of your big name golfers that come out of this. So, and we're very fortunate. We help host that with Hazeltine. We do the early rounds, and then I think the finals are at Hazeltine.
I am almost positive that we're the first municipal golf course to ever host it twice. Because Torrey Pines was the other one previously, and they haven't hosted it since. So I think now with us doing 2, I think we're the only one.
Other first.
Between that and the Ryder Cup, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Again, Memorial Day is 27th. I hope people remember why we have the long weekend and get out. It's a very quick service, but very moving. It's nice. I believe there'll be a small parade again, just basically from the Fireman's Park over to the Veterans Park, and it's really a moving ceremony, and they've generally had some awesome main speakers. So please take the time. It's 10 a.m. and by 11 you'll be back to go out and do your picnicking and whatever you're doing on that particular day, and hopefully it's dry. You never know. We've had some rainy ones.
Hail.
Yeah.
The year it hailed, that's what I remember.
Yeah. And that's amazing. So I've been doing it with the fire department for a lot of years, and I didn't ever remember but one rain out, and we went in the auditorium at the old junior high.
Yep.
And then now we've had that. We got chased out of the park with hail. We've had, I think, another one canceled just in a short period of time.
Yep.
So it's amazing. So I think fishing openers this weekend as well. If it's Mother's Day, it's fishing opening. So happy fishing to everyone that's gonna be out fishing and hope they have a dry day. And then mostly happy Mother's Day. Mine is no longer with me, but it's still always a special day. There's always something about mom. You can never forget mom. So I think it's very important, and I just want to wish all the moms a very happy Mother's Day, and to those that have left us, that you never forget them and always be thinking about them on Mother's Day. So with that, I will say I am done, and last call for anyone.
Timberwolves.
Oh, that's right. Timberwolves start tonight.
Yeah.
I just saw Gobert, not Gobert, but Rudy Gobert. His wife had a baby, so he's gonna miss the game. So.
Well, they thought he might be back. I think he'll be back.
Oh,
Did I say he's out?
I don't know. Channel 9 says he's out.
Oh.
All right. Motion to adjourn, anyone? Or do you want to stay
A
here?
motion?
Oh, okay.
to
I didn't know if you
adjourn.
wanted to stay.
I'll second.
All right, so I have a motion by Councilmember Hubbard, second by Councilmember Wong. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Post same sign. We are adjourned. We'll see you in 2 weeks, May 20th and then June 3rd.